Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ, where we help you lead with purpose and succeed with impact. If you're ready to grow into the kind of leader others want to follow, this podcast is for you. If you're determined to elevate your success and leave a lasting legacy, this podcast is for you. As my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell reminds us, everything rises and falls on leadership. Our goal is simple: to inspire you, challenge you, and equip you with insights that can transform the trajectory of your leadership journey. Welcome aboard to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.
Good morning, everyone. This is Coach BZ, and thank you for watching this special edition of the Leadership and Success Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the Book of Proverbs, chapter 15, January 15 today. So we are going through the Book of Proverbs, one chapter every day for the entire month of January. And this is not a religious broadcast, but it's about ancient wisdom and being mentored from the Book of Proverbs. So focusing on ancient wisdom and leadership lesson from Proverb, how a book written more than 2,000 years ago can still be applicable in our lives today in 2026. All right, so first we're going to start, actually before I do a quick review, let's do our moment of gratitude. As you know, it's a custom to take just a moment every time we meet to be grateful for something every single day. So today, I think I'm really grateful to be a U.S. citizen, to live in America, the home of the brave, the land of the free. America is not a perfect country, but I think it's the best country I've ever lived in. I was born and grew up in Africa. I've lived in Europe, and I moved to America when I was about 17 years old, and there's just no country like it. And it's part of the reason why I joined the U.S. military, the U.S. Navy, back then as a seaman recruit, and today as an information warfare commander. I think America is definitely a country worth fighting for, and I am grateful for America today. So let us know what you are grateful for today. Type it in the comment. Also, let me know where you are joining us from, what city, what state, if in the US, and if from another nation, which country. And also, if you have a question for me, type it in the comment. Or if you have any insight on the Book of Proverbs, chapter 15, which we studied today, type it in the comment as well. And once I give you my 7 lessons for Proverbs chapter 15, I look forward to hearing your feedback as well. All right. Thank you for that. So let's get started with a quick review of Proverbs chapter 1 through chapter 14.
Hi, this is Pastor Ron Carpenter. How can I help? All right, listen closely. Proverbs chapter 1 is all about the beginning of wisdom, and that start is the fear of the Lord. It's about getting wisdom, getting instruction, the spirit of wisdom and revelation so you can see life clearly and make choices that don't mess you up. The whole thing points to the fact that wisdom isn't just a heart posture, a way of living that sets you apart. That's the big idea right there. Chapter 2 picks up from that foundation in chapter 1 and digs into why wisdom is like your best friend, your protector. It shows how wisdom saves you from the fools and the You see, it's about hearing God's voice early, before trouble hits, so you can live long, peaceful days. The fear of the Lord keeps you safe and gives you avoid all kinds of foolishness. That's the big deal there. All right, chapter 3 is like wisdom's personal invitation. It tells us to trust the Lord with all our heart and not our own understanding. Come on, that's powerful. When you do that, He'll make your path straight, guiding you through life with success and peace. It's about leaning in, not just knowing God's favor daily. That's a dang good life lesson right there. All right, chapter 4 is like the pep talk from your wise, loving dad, telling you to grab hold of wisdom and never about guarding your heart because everything you do flows from it, and you got to stay clear of folly that leads to destruction. It's a strong companion and your priority, period. That's the heart of it. All right, chapter 5 is a warning about the dangers of temptation, especially the seductive traps that can wreck your life and your future. It's got about staying faithful and wise, not falling for foolish shortcuts or lies that seem sweet and bitter. The message is your eyes locked on what's righteous and don't let yourself get fooled. That's the big point right there. All right, Proverbs chapter 6 is packed with tough love. It warns about foolish promises, laziness, and how God hates those who among brothers. But the star of the show is that little ant. Man, that ant shows us what diligence and foresight look like, working steady and preparing ahead. That's the kind of wisdom God wants us to get, practical, real, and hard-earned. All right, chapter 7 is like this desperate shout from wisdom warning you about getting caught up in temptation, especially that sneaky kind that looks good but wrecks. Wisdom screaming for you to wake up, guard your heart, and choose the right way before it's too late. That's the big idea right there. Third is wisdom personified like a woman calling out in the streets, inviting folks to live life the right way. It's about how wisdom was with God before creation, showing wisdom is divine order and foundation for everything. The big idea, listen to wisdom's call and you'll walk in safety and honor. Chapter 9, I'm knocking on the door, y'all. It's calling us to come on in, choose life, and leave the life of fools behind. Wisdom promises of blessing and safety if we listen. It's an invitation, plain and simple. All right now, chapter 10 is like a packed toolbox of wisdom. Short, punchy saying, wise choices make life better and foolish ones mess it up. It covers everything from how your words can heal or hurt to hard work versus laziness and integrity. Bottom line, every choice matters, and your life reflects what you plant with your decisions. Chapter 11 is all about the contrast between righteousness and wickedness showing up in blessings and consequences. It's like a mirror. You can see how being honest and while deceit and pride lead to trouble. That's the heart of it. All right, chapter 12 gets into how your choices about speech, work, and integrity shape your life. It shows that a righteous person's will bring life, but fools just shoot off their mouths and cause trouble. It's a reminder that wisdom shows up in everyday actions and habits, not just fancy theory. All right, chapter 13 is discipline bring life and blessings, while foolishness brings destruction. It reminds us that what we say and do shapes our future, so choosing the path is big time. It's like planting a garden. You reap what you sow, no doubt. All right, after chapter 14 in Proverbs, you keep seeing that pattern. Brings life and blessings, but foolishness brings trouble. The chapters that follow keep hammering home practical guidance on how your choices, your words, and your heart posture set you up or pain. It's like every chapter layers on that reality until it sticks. That's the big picture as you move past 14.
All right, that's a pretty good review of Proverb chapter 1 through 14. So we did Proverb chapter 14 yesterday. And again, you can go to your favorite podcast platform and you will find episode 1 through 14. It's all available everywhere podcasts are available. And you can review those. But quick summary of what we did yesterday, chapter 14. We had 7 lessons. Lesson 1 was build before you lead. That was off of verse 1. Leadership always builds or destroys. And culture, trust, teams, and family are shaped by intentional action or careless neglect. So that's the leadership lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, integrity sets the direction. Verse 2, integrity is not a personality trait, it's a daily directional choice. And our third lesson yesterday was words reveal wisdom. So that was based on verse 3. Leaders are revealed by how they speak under pressure. And lesson 4, discernment beats assumption, based on verse 8. Discernment requires reflection, and foolishness rushes ahead blind. And lesson 5 yesterday, we talked about emotional intelligence is leadership strength, verse 29. So emotional regulation is a core leadership skill, not a soft one. And lesson 6, we talked about success without wisdom is hollow, based on verse 12. Not every successful looking path leads to sustainable outcome. And finally, we mentioned on lesson 7, we finish with influence multiplies consequences, based on verse 34. Leadership influence scales both good and bad outcomes. So today we're going to start with chapter 15. So this chapter, the big idea really reveals that leadership is exercised first through words, posture, and inner discipline before it is ever expressed through authority or action. So this chapter kind of contrasts gentle wisdom with harsh folly, showing that leaders shape culture, resolve conflict, and build trust primarily through how they speak, how they listen, and how they receive correction. So to be a good leader, not only you speak, but it's not just what you say, but how you say it. But more importantly than speaking, I think, is listening. You have to be able to listen to your people, even listen to your enemies. You have to pay attention, listen more than you speak, in my opinion. And then you have to be open for correction, open for feedback, always. No matter who is the person giving you the feedback. Even people who hate you or don't like you, they may give you a lot of dirt, but in that dirt, there might just be some gold. So you have to dig for the gold. Always be open to receive correction, because that's really what makes you better, right? It makes you a more effective leader. Because if what they say is absolutely not true, then you can just disregard it. But if what they say is actually true, and you know that it is true, then you know that you need to change. You need to be better than you were yesterday. I believe I talked to, it was Commander Erica Dobbs yesterday, season 5. I believe it was episode 15. Commander Erica Dobbs, U.S. Navy, retired. She said she doesn't compete with anybody. She competes with the person in the mirror, the man, the woman in the mirror. She competes with who she was yesterday. So I think when you are a leader, that's really what you want to do. You always want to improve. There is always room for improvement. You want to be better than you are now, better than you were yesterday. That's the person you are competing against. Okay. And chapter 15 at its core teaches that sustainable leadership flows from humility, emotional intelligence, and reverence for God, not from volume, ego, or positional power. All right, so the theme here is wise leaders govern their influence through humility, restraint, and teachable heart. You have to be coachable. And again, I want to remind you to watch season 5, episode 3, the conversation I had with Terry Maxwell. She's really a conscious capitalist. She helped a lot of business grow and scale, and she does everything based on her core values. And she won't hire anybody who doesn't align with the core values of her company. And she won't be doing business with uh, organization, again, that don't align with her core value. She's a person of principle, and that's really the secret of her success. And I think that's so important. And people have to be open-hearted and teachable and open for feedback. So lesson number 1, tone determine the trajectory. Your tone will determine your trajectory. So let's listen to verses 1 and 2.
A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly, but the mouth of fools pours forth foolishness.
The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly. Wow. Leadership conversation escalate or de-escalate based on tone more than content. It's not just what you are saying, but it is how you are saying it. Are you speaking from a position of love and care, or are you speaking from a position of judgment and criticism? Your tone has a lot to do with it. Wisdom is not only what you say, but how you say it. That's why, as a leader, you really need to have a few people that you give permission to speak to you when you do something wrong. They can just speak to you frankly and tell you, hey, I believe that you are making a mistake, and this is why. And you can trust their word because you know that they love you and they stand by you. You know where they are coming from. And that's important, to be open to criticism and also to speak uh, gently, speak with love and care. All right. So, how do we apply this? Intense meetings, feedback session, or crisis moment, regulate your tone first. Calm leadership preserve authority and psychological safety. Calm under pressure. So when conflict arises, do I lead with calm clarity or emotional reaction? How often does your tone amplify rather than resolve tension? So the anchor reflection here is a leader's tone can either pour water on a fire or gasoline. And you definitely want to de-escalate, pour water, not gasoline. All right. Leadership lesson number 2. Wise leaders listen before they lead. Listen before they lead. So verses 7 and 14. Let's listen to that.
The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the fool does not do so. And the heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness.
The heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge. So foolish leaders will broadcast opinion, whereas wise leaders seek understanding. Listening is a leadership skill, not a passive act. So listen actively. I think it was Stephen R. Covey who said, right? Most people, when they are in a conversation, they want to express themselves. But he says, no, first, you need to understand before you speak, not to be understood, right? Understand the other person, and then you can respond to what they are saying, not just automatically react to it. So listen, think, and respond with wisdom and from a position of understanding. All right, how do we apply this? Create space for dissent, space for question, space for feedback. You are not always right and you don't know everything. So you need to have an open mind and allow people to challenge your assumption because that's going to help the team. So, do you listen to understand or to reply? Yeah, again, Stephen Covey, his most famous book talks about that 7 habit of successful people. I have that here somewhere, but yeah, it is very, very important to listen to understand and not just to reply. Okay, and who on your team feels unheard? I think it's important for every member of the team to have the opportunity to speak because you never really know where wisdom is going to come from because wisdom doesn't respect rank. And anybody on your team could have a solution for the problem you have. So before you make a critical decision, I think it's wise to ask for the feedback from your team. But ultimately, you being the boss, you being the leader, you are going to make the decision. But be open to listen. So the anchor reflection: leadership credibility grows when people feel genuinely heard. When people feel heard and they have provided input and their input is being considered, you don't have to do everything they say, but if you listen to it and you consider that should be enough. They're going to feel like, they have a buy-in to whatever it is that the organization is going to be doing because they provided their input. All right. Leadership lesson number 3, correction is a gift, not a threat. We're going to read verses 10, 12, and then 31, 32. Let me back there. So let's go to 10 first.
Harsh discipline is for him who forsakes the way, and he who hates correction will die. A scoffer does not love one who corrects him, nor will he go to the wise.
And then let's go to 31 and 32.
The ear that hears the rebukes of life will abide among the wise. He who disdains instruction despises his own soul, but he who heeds rebuke gets understanding.
So if you heed rebuke, you will get understanding. Correction is a gift, not a threat. So teachability separates enduring leaders from temporary ones. Pride rejects correction, whereas wisdom welcomes it. So how do we apply this? Model humility by publicly accepting feedback and adjusting course if needed. So how do you react when you are corrected? And do you invite feedback or avoid it? Again, once you get feedback, doesn't mean that you have to do what people are telling you, but at least you have to consider it because everybody has a blind spot, right? That's why you need to have a diverse team, different background, different ways of thinking. This way, if you have a blind spot and something that could be really critical, terrible for whatever project you are embarking on, somebody can tell you, hey, have you considered this? And that's going to, again, help you be a better, more effective leader and achieve greater level of success or just avoid big trouble. So the anchor reflection here is on growth begins where defensiveness ends. As a leader, you don't want to be defensive. You want to have an open mind and receive correction when needed. An open mind, not a closed mind. You can watch the podcast I did yesterday with Lisa Fan. She's a mentorship architect, and she talked about leaders and mentors having a open mind or a closed mind. And you really want to have an open mind as a leader. That is how you lead effectively. And that is what's going to allow you to lead in the long term. Okay, lesson number 4. Culture is built through words. We're going to read verse 4 and verse 23. Culture is built through word. Verse 4. Here we go.
A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it breaks the spirit.
Okay, and then we're going to go to verse 23.
A man has joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season, how good it is.
Yeah. Joy by the answer of his or her mouth. The soothing tongue is a tree of life. So what's the insight here? Words shape morale, motivation, and meaning. So leaders speak life or slowly drain it. So how do you apply this? So affirm effort, recognize progress, and communicate hope, especially under pressure. And I think it is so important as a leader to also reward your people. For example, when I was the commanding officer for the Global Network Operations Security Center in Suffolk, one thing I started doing every month, we would choose a sailor. I would call it sailor in the spotlight. So I would just recognize the sailor who did the most for the mission or who had the most impact on what we were working on and doing as a command. And then the following month, that sailor would then select another sailor in the spotlight, the one person in the unit who had the greatest impact on that person. And then it would go on and on and on and on. Every month I would do that. So I would give them a command coin. I would give them a cap of the unit, and I would write a thank you letter, a letter of appreciation. And then I would give them a book as well. So I would make a very, very big deal of it. So my seller were really looking forward to it. Who is going to be the seller in the spotlight this month? Who had the greatest impact on their fellow seller? And that really helped the morale a lot, because I feel like they are part of a team and the work that they are doing is being recognized by their senior leadership. So it's very, very important as a leader that you build that culture through words, right? And words of life and affirmation and appreciation. Everybody wants to be appreciated. And sometimes people, they don't really want to have more money or even more responsibility. They just want to thank you. They just want to be acknowledged that, yes, I'm working very hard and I am doing the best I can and contributing to the mission. And I want my bosses to know that and to just acknowledge that. Even if you just give them like a thank you card or something and publicly praise them, recognize them, I think that really lifts the morale and encourages loyalty. They feel like they are part of a team. So Things you may want to think about. Do your words energize or exhaust your team? And what atmosphere follows you into a room? Which culture are you building? So the anchor reflection here is healthy cultures grow where leaders speak with intention and care. Really, the more I read Proverb, the more I realize as a leader, you really have to lead with humility and with love. You have to care about the people you lead. And you have to be humble enough that you know that you don't have all of the answers and that members of your team have part of the answers and you need to listen to them. Again, if you go back to the conversation I had with Commander Dobbs, Erica Dobbs, yesterday, US Navy retired. I believe it was episode number 15, season 5. She said that one time she went through a failure she really didn't have to go through because she wasn't listening to her team member. Now, the reason why she has a team is not just to have a team, is so that the team could help, provide the input to help her as the CEO resolve some of these problems and strategize about where a company would go forward. So you have to listen to your team as a leader. That's a must. All right. Lesson number 5: pride distorts judgment, but humility sharpens judgment. We're going to read verses 25 and 33. Okay.
The thoughts of the wicked are the Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the boundary of the widow.
The Lord will destroy the house of the proud. Let's go to 33.
The preparations of the heart belong to the fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility.
Before honor is humility. Humility comes before honor. So pride will blind leaders to risk, but humility keeps them grounded and alert. So practice servant leadership, credit others, own mistakes, and remain approachable. And again, this is definitely the way I have seen all of the flag officers throughout the military, whether it's in the Navy, Admiral, or the Army generals, all of them, from 1-star to 4-star. Everyone I've met, everyone I've served under has always been humble. And it's really amazing because when I was a enlisted seaman recruit, right, 21 years ago, the lowest rank in the military, I used to think that all of the flag officers were almost like demigod or something. I mean, wow, what a great privilege and honor, huge accomplishment, right, to be a 1-star in the most powerful military in the world. But the more I work for them and those that I got to know, they are all so very humble. So much so that I started to believing that maybe they are sent to some type of humility school or something once they are selected to advance to the flag rank. Because I've seen some senior officer like me, commander, lieutenant colonel, or captain, and colonel, some of them who are not so humble, right? They're pretty puffed up and proud. And most people I have worked for, most keepers are very good, but there are very few that are not so nice or kind. But I have never in my experience seen a braggadocious flag officer. So again, maybe it lets me know part of the reason why they got so high in rank is because of their humility. They really truly love their sailor, the troops, their soldier, and it shows. And that's the type of leaders I want to be. Again, I am not competing with everybody, but I'm competing with myself, the person in the mirror, the person I was yesterday. All right, humility comes before honor. So, where might pride be limiting your effectiveness? And how do you demonstrate humility in authority? The anchor reflection is true honor follows leaders who remain humble under pressure. All right, leadership lesson number 6. Decision quality reflects counsel quality. We're going to go back to verse 22. Verse 22. So your decision is reflected by the counsel you receive.
Without counsel, plans go awry. But in the multitude of counselors, they are established.
In the multitude of counselors, plans are established. That's why I believe before you make a critical decision, you need to listen to at least 2 to 3 counselors, mentors, advisors, right? Get a different opinion and make sure, again, you are looking after your blind side. Is there some things that you fail to consider? Have you made the wrong assumption? Have people that you trust who love you, challenge you, and speak to you frankly. And decision quality reflects counsel quality. Have a personal board of director, people you can go to and who can speak into your life. They don't have to tell you what you want to hear, but tell you what you need to hear, whether you like it or not. And you have to listen. Again, you don't always have to do everything they say, but you do have to consider it and then make your decision. So, wise leaders don't lead alone. Collective wisdom reduces blind spot and strengthens execution. And again, for me personally, I like to listen to 2 or 3 of my dear mentors, people I love who have permission to speak into my life, and I will listen to everything they say before I make my final decision. Because the truth is, it's your life, and you are gonna live your own life and make your own decision, but do it wisely. So listen for wisdom. Okay. So you want to reduce blind spot and strengthen your execution, so you have to get collective wisdom, get good counseling, get mentorship. All right. How do you apply this? You need to build diverse adversary circle and encourage cross-functional input. Who challenges your thinking constructively? Again, especially coming from people who love you, you need to give them permission to speak frankly to you. Where are you making decision in isolation? So once I started on my leadership journey, I know there is this saying, it's very lonely at the top, but it doesn't have to be lonely. Yes, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. I think as a leader, as you are climbing up the corporate ladder, it's a good thing for you to bring people with you, not go there alone. Bring a team with you, right? People you can trust and people who can speak to you frankly. It doesn't have to be lonely. You have to reach out to your mentors, reach out to your circle of advisor. No need for you to lead in isolation. All right. So, anchor reflection: strong leaders surround themselves with truth tellers, not echo chambers. If you are foolish, you are going to have a bunch of yes men and yes women around you, people who just want to please you and are going to back whatever you say, even when it's completely ridiculous. What you want are people who actually think and who can speak to you and say, okay, sir, I do respect you, but I think we might be making a mistake because of X, Y, and Z. I think you need to consider this. And then again, you have a boss, you are going to make the decision, but you do need to listen. So you really want that. All right. The final lesson today, lesson number 7, is reverence anchors leadership integrity. Reverence anchors leadership integrity. We're going to go back to verses 16 and 17. All right. Let's go there. Reverence anchors integrity. Here we go.
Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure with trouble. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fatted calf with hatred.
Better is herb with love than calf with hatred. Now let's read 33.
The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility.
So reverence anchors leadership integrity. Wow. What a lesson. So values, not outcome, will define lasting leadership integrity, outlive success metrics. So how do you apply this? Align your decision with moral clarity, not short-term gain. Think about long-term perspective. Again, another lesson Brian Tracy, one of my dearest mentors, taught me. You have to think long-term. And the longer the term, the greater success you will have. The action I am taking today, what is going to be its effect on me, not just today and tomorrow, but next week, next month, next quarter, next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what is going to be the effect? And then you do it every day, so it compounds. Again, another great lesson I got from Diane Hardy, the compound effect. Very, very powerful. Very small steps daily, consistently, will have huge, huge impact on your future. So think about that. So what values govern your leadership choices today? And are you sacrificing peace for performance? So the anchor reflection is leadership grounded in reverence, produces peace, clarity, and endurance. So this chapter 15 reminds us that leadership is not loud, it is wise, measured, and deeply relational. Building relationship. Just because you have a boss doesn't mean that you have to scream, that you have to be the loudest voice in the room. Actually, sometimes leadership is very quiet, and every word that you speak is weighted. It means something, and people stop and listen. Now, Colin Powell, right over there, right? One of my mentors. He wasn't a loud man. He didn't speak frantically or anything, but he was very poised. And when he spoke, he almost kind of changed in a way, almost like the molecular composition of a room when he showed up. He has so much presence. So I guess you call it charisma or executive presence. But whatever it is, people would stop in their track and listen to the man. He deserved respect, and every word that he said was weighted, and people would listen to every word and consider it. That's the kind of leader I want to be. That's the kind of leader you should aspire to be. Not a foolish leader, not a loud leader, but someone who speaks with wisdom. So powerful. So wise, measured, and deeply relational. So leaders, they rise not by force, but by humility, not by dominance, but by discernment. When leaders govern their words, they receive correction and walk in reverence, they cultivate trust that endures long after authority fades. Another quote by one of my mentor, General Biggs, it told us, that was season 4, I believe, episode 133. It says that rank is rented, but trust is earned. Whatever position you have right now, eventually you will not be in that position. People die, people retire, people get better opportunities, they move on, people get fired. But whatever position you have today, it will not be your job for the rest of your life. Rank is rented. It's only for a season, but trust is earned. And hopefully your legacy will be long after you are gone. People will remember you because of the impact you had in their life. People don't remember the words you say, but the way you made them feel. And that's by using your word and how you use them. All right, this is it for today. Tomorrow we're going to study Proverbs chapter 16. I hope you are here with us. And we are again looking for ancient wisdom and leadership lesson from the book of Proverbs, which is very much applicable today in 2026. All right. In a couple of hours, I will be speaking. Great honor and privilege to speak with General Larry Sponsor. What a great privilege that is going to be. Please join us live and prepare your question for the General. He's a people first servant leader, trailblazer, principal steward, best-selling author of Dark Horse. We're going to be talking about Dark Horse from airman to 4-star general. And right after that, back to back, I will be speaking with Jamie Chambon. She's a Harvard-educated career catalyst. We're going to be talking about career agility in an uncertain world. I think this is a timely topic for today. And tomorrow, I will have a great pleasure of speaking with Colonel Josh Hartzell. He is a medical doctor, U.S. Army retired, so a combat physician, educator, speaker, best-selling author of A Prescription for Caring in Healthcare Leadership. We're going to be talking about prescription for caring, so leadership in action. And I have another one I just confirmed for Sunday. I will let you know later today. But this is what we have planned for you this week. And thank you so much for watching this special edition of the Leadership and Success Podcast. Bye for now, and see you in a couple hours.
Thank you for tuning in to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If today's episode added value to your leadership journey, be sure to subscribe, share, and join us again for more wisdom nuggets on how to lead better and achieve greater success. Remember, leadership is the most critical skill of our time. The world will always need leaders to inspire others, drive innovation, and execute meaningful strategy. So why not count yourself among the bold leaders shaping the 21st century? Until next time, stay inspired, stay committed, and keep leading with excellence.